Let's talk about role-playing and tabletop role-playing games. There is no one definition that everyone accepts when it comes to role-playing in one of these games. We're not running a drama class, so we don't need to fit their definition of role-playing. Why is there no one definition of role-playing for every game? Because we don't need it. Because you don't need to do the same version of roleplay in every game. The only thing a tabletop role-playing game requires is an aspect of role-playing to call it a role-playing game. And that's why there's many video games out there that have aspects of role-playing in the game, and they're called what? RPGs, role-playing games. So if you hear anyone in the tabletop role-playing game hobby saying this is what role-playing is and this is what it's not, understand that they are truly full of shit. As long as there is an aspect of roleplay in the game, it's a role-playing game, period. There are some tabletop role-playing game content creators that focus on heavy roleplay. Right? They focus on a lot of other areas of the game, but they do focus on heavy roleplay. And sadly, when they're telling you how they roleplay, it's to try to say that what they're doing is better than what you're doing, and in a way, that means they are better than you. I have no interest in doing that. That's why I don't, push heavy on those things. Even if I have such opinions that, hey, I think this is better, that's my own personal opinion. The only thing I try to do in my videos is consider your situation and improving it. Meaning I only want to give you advice if I really think that thing will make a better experience for you. It doesn't matter if I think it's better for me. I focus on who I'm talking to and try to improve their situation. So I don't preach about roleplay. And at the end of the day, the heavy roleplay that is pushed by these content creators, it really doesn't make the game more fun or more immersive in the way that they think. It does for them. It doesn't for everyone. That's true. That is a fact. And I know they won't like that fact, but it is a fact. The only thing throughout this time that I've heard that I think is something I would advise is to drop third-person interaction. Meaning even if you do third-person as far as describing where your character goes or doing many of these other areas, when it gets to dialogue, my personal advice is to tell you, do real dialogue. Don't do third person. Don't be on the outside saying my character says this. That's my advice because I think the experience is more fun for the player, right? And even the game master. I think it's better. That is the only reason I would push that. But for the rest of it, I don't care. Don't get it wrong. Much of what these content creators say about roleplay, I actually do myself. I appreciate it. But when they start pushing that idea to say that what they're doing is better than what you're doing or that they are better than you, well, then I reject it because I know that's bullshit. And at the end of the day, the only thing I personally want to do, again, as I've already said, is to help you. So you hearing about my personal preference, if it doesn't help you, I'm wasting your time. So I'm not going to waste your time mentioning all that bullshit, right? Here is what these inexperienced content creators don't know. They don't seem to understand immersion. And the way I talk about it, at least, like being hooked on that movie, you're watching it, you're into it, and I say your name from 10 feet away and you don't hear me, right? You want to be immersed into a tabletop role-playing game like that. And when they talk about immersion, they're pitching pretty much the same thing. And they think there's only one way to get to that deep immersive state. But there's not. And there's a way that you can do it with almost no roleplay at all. Take any old school D&D game and just run everything quickly and smoothly. Only put a little bit of roleplay in there. Maybe even just third-person dialogue, stuff I don't like, but whatever. Do that. But make every area of the game from that to combat to dealing with traps quick, smooth, pressure, intensity, pushing on players, and you'll have them immersed, deeply immersed, just as much as you can with some heavy roleplay for the entire session, start to finish. Period. So that immersion that they think you can only get to through heavy role-playing and focusing on character, it's not the only way there. You can do it by just simply playing other aspects, other areas of the game, like combat. It's just how you do it, right? If you're slow, you can't bring players into immersion through combat. But if your game is quick and fast, where tempo go, bang, you'll have players deeply immersed into the game from start to finish. But what they're really immersed into, it's less about being in character and more about gameplay, more about the game itself, more about what's happening right then. Right? But these content creators, they don't know that's a thing because they lack experience. Here's what most everyone is after once they understand how good it is. Immersion. So if you're sitting back, drinking beer, eating pretzels, and you're not in your imagination, and you're watching dice roll, and you're really not into the game, right, and that way of being immersed, I think you're deeply missing out on what these games offer. And I think these games almost require you to calm down on the beer and pretzels and focus on the game. And I don't care if it's through character or through the events and actions and situation. And game masters are required to keep a tempo, keep a pace, to keep that immersion, no matter if you're playing more for what's happening in the game or more for, like, say, role-playing the character. And if a DM isn't keeping a tempo and a good pace, I think they're absolutely failing as game masters. I don't think they're good at what they're doing. That's my personal opinion. Anyway, for now, take care. You know what you can do? You can hit the like button. You can share the video. Oh, and there's another button you can press. That one that lets you subscribe to my channel for more content. Oh yeah, there's that bell thing. You can press that so you know when I've uploaded a new video right away.